When he gets finished, I say this to him. Let me see if I understand you. You want to marry her because she meets all your selfish, self-centered desires. And he said, no, that's not what I mean. I said, but that's what you said. You want to marry her because she's beautiful. What are you going to do when she's not beautiful anymore? What are you going to do when someone else comes along that's more beautiful than she is? You're going to do what most men do? You're going to divorce her? And what do you say you want to marry her because you can talk. What's going to happen when you can't talk with her, but you can talk with your secretary? You're going to leave her? You see, so much of what we think is love is nothing more than us basing our life on our own selfish desires. Also, people have this idea of love that's mythical. It's cartoonish. Turned love into at least a personal or impersonal force that actually exists in the universe, that's more powerful than people and can cause them to do bad things. You see? Well, I fell out of love. I'm not in love with her anymore. I mean, you can't blame me. I'm not in love with her. See, the love went away. It left us. It abandoned us. We've turned love into this force that can control people. That's absolutely insane. That's not love. That's what comes in every movie you've ever seen. Well, it was just bigger than the both of it. What was? Where is this power? What are you talking about? No, it wasn't. What was bigger than both of you was both of your lusts. Has nothing to do with love. And you say, well, we only got one life. Not us Christians. Yeah, a lost man can talk that way. I've only got one chance at happiness. I'm going for it. Go for it then. But if you're a Christian, you don't believe that. You see, God has called you to commit your life to this person. And that way, if it's wonderful, praise God. If it goes down in the dumps, you're not going anywhere. Guys, the whole world's tearing itself apart because of selfish desires. What are the reasons for wars and everything else? Selfish desires. Why do people get divorced? Selfish desires. Self, me, self. No, we're to die to self and we're to serve. And in doing that, we will find the greatest joy. If I could pick out 3 things in which they told me, you can imitate Christ in these. That's what I think about. Unconditional love, mercy, and grace. Now, I have some things here I want to just go ahead and read that I've written out so I get them right. Let me ask you a few questions. How would you ever learn unconditional love if you were married to someone who met all the conditions? Question. How would you ever learn mercy, patience, long-suffering, heartfelt compassion if you were married to someone who never failed you, who was never difficult with you, who never sinned against you, who was never slow to acknowledge their sin or ask for forgiveness? How would you ever learn grace, to pour out your favor on someone who did not deserve it if you were married to someone who was always deserving of all good things? Do you see that? Listen to me. The main purpose of marriage is that through your marriage you become conformed to the image of Jesus Christ. Marriage, I believe, is the greatest instrument of sanctification. You are married to a person who does not meet all the conditions so that you might learn unconditional love. You are married to a person who needs mercy so that you learn to give it. You are married to a person who does not deserve so that you learn to pour lavishly yourself out on a person who does not respond appropriately, and thus you become like the God you worship. You see, you worship God for these things, but you don't want to give them to others. You worship God for grace, but you demand that your wife live in such a way that she not be in need of it. You worship God for unconditional love, but you get mad at your own wife when she doesn't meet the conditions. Do you see?